What is up, everybody? We're doing this TikTok live. I'm gonna post this on YouTube too if you guys don't hear or aren't on this actual live. But we're gonna go live discussing this mock, and obviously I've been posting a few videos past this or about this the last few days, and a lot of people have been critical of the Raiders trading up 2 spots for a running back, which is unequivocally, I would say, unusual in today's league. But the reason why, and I will move my head periodically so you guys can see this, don't worry, okay? The reason why is if they want a guy, giving up a 4th or a 5th rounder to move 2 spots isn't the end of the world, okay? It's not the end of the world to get a guy like Ashton Jeanty. We know they need a running back, okay? And the Patriots could actually take him at 4. I know it's unusual for Mike Vrabel to probably take a running back there, but they just signed Moses, right? It's not like they absolutely need another tackle like Will Campbell or Membu. They could, and Travis Hunter absolutely could fall to 4, right, if Shedeur ends up going top 3. I'm just saying I think Ashton Jeanty could go 4 to the Patriots and could use a scare tactic to at least get a 4th or 5th rounder and the 6th overall pick, right? And then the Raiders move up 2 spots and they could still get whoever they want, whether it's Will Campbell, Membu, or Ted McMillan at 6. I'm just saying it's not that crazy. In today's NFL, teams will do anything to move up for the player they want. And I know I've been getting cooked on my mocks about having the Raiders trade up 2 spots for Jeanty, but it's not like they're giving up a whole lot of draft compensation to move up 2 spots. Oh, he's going to be there at 6. Oh, Jeanty was horrible against Penn State. Well, yeah, no shit. I mean, his Boise State's offensive line was horrible compared to Penn State's defense, right? So I do think that they will get Ashton Jeanty. I'll get out of the way for a sec. So I will rate off seasons too. After this video, I plan on rating, rating the winners and losers so far of free agency. But yeah, no, I was just talking about that. Raiders aren't trading up. What the heck? Yes, I'm telling you right now, nothing is unusual in today's NFL. I know I've been getting cooked for that on my videos for having the Raiders give up a 5th rounder, 4th or 5th rounder, by the way, and to move up 2 spots. That's it. Right? To get Jeanty. If you want somebody, you can go get it. I'm not ruling out the Pats taking him at 4. Is Bijan Robinson a better prospect than Ashton Jeanty was? Can you unequivocally say what? He went 6th, right? Or 7th. So I'm not ruling out Jeanty going 4th. So I do think that Shedeur now could be going top 3, but I doubt he goes top 3. I really think the Giants would take Travis Hunter over Shedeur Sanders and just roll with Russell Wilson or something. So, again, a lot of people think the Titans are taking Cam Ward. That would shake some things up. But in this mock specifically, yeah, I have this playing out right now. Now, of course, it can change. Of course, the order is not accurate, dude. I made trades. There's trades in this mock draft. So, I'll get out of the way periodically so you guys can see. But I don't think it's wrong that... right now, I don't think it's a horrible decision if the Patriots were to take Jeanty at 4, or if the Raiders really want their guy and they trade up 2 spots. Chiefs draft pick. Well, you don't like whatever his name is, the linebacker from South Carolina. Interesting. I like him. I mean, he's probably a 2nd rounder, but I think at that pick, they obviously got Jalen Moore to help with the depth alongside Jawan Taylor because Jawan's not great. But I could see, again, I think the biggest thing is, and the biggest thing I've been getting cooked in the comments about on my videos was, why would the Raiders trade up for a running back? And yes, it's unusual in today's NFL, but it's 2 spots, and it's literally nothing to trade up 2 picks. You give up a 5th rounder, most 5th rounder, no teams are like the Niners and Rams. 5th rounders are nothing half the time, right? 2 spots is a 4th or 5th rounder here. And the Patriots could definitely trade back 2 picks and still get the guy they want, whether it's Tet, whether it's Membu, whether it's Will Campbell. I think the Raiders could get scared, even in a deep running back class, that they might not get their guy there at 6. So I think getting Jeanty's important for Pete Carroll's offense. We could get Tet. Yeah, it's possible. Bro, Travis won't fall to 10. Yeah, Travis is going. I would see Travis getting going top 10. And yes, there are some trades, so that's why the mock isn't 100% exactly what it is. Obviously, at 13, I have the Steelers. Even if they sign Aaron Rodgers, Shedeur is not falling past 15. I used to think maybe he could fall toward the end of the 1st round, but I think they would trade up from pick 21 to take Shedeur if he were to fall there. But there's new reports saying he could go third to the Giants. I think that would be a mistake. I think they should go Travis Hunter. You go best player available there. And I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, Carter's not going first. Ward is going first. But I just think that at this time, man, I really think that Carter makes a lot of sense. It's not like the Titans are going anywhere next season. And I don't want to be like rude or mean to Titans fans because you never know in the National Football League. There's always 4 to 6 teams that make the playoffs the previous year that don't make the playoffs the next year. That's the National Football League. It's difficult to remain good. But they're not a quarterback away. You know, Abdul Carter would help out a lot. And yes, they like Ward a lot. I just think if the Giants don't end up trading for that first overall pick, I think they could stay and get Abdul Carter. Because, you know, like next year you have Drew Aller, Arch Manning, maybe Cade Klubnik, a lot of guys, Garrett Nussmeier, people like a lot. I don't like Nussmeier that much, but a lot of people like him as a prospect. I'll get out of the way so you guys can see that though, and I'll answer some more questions. But again, it's good to have this discourse, right? These are all mocks. These are all, no one is like unequivocally right. Pro days will change some things. I'll answer some questions here too, but I want to let you guys see the mock too. Who's my favorite tackle this year? Probably Membu. Membu's great. I love Ursary. I think Ursary might hop into the first round at some point. I think Dallas could get Kelvin Banks. I definitely see it. Definitely see it. If Warren goes before 14, where would that be? 9, probably to the Saints. Jags said they're getting a cornerback. I mean, they say that, so maybe they get Will Johnson. They're not going to take Barron, right, because they signed a nickel in free agency, and I think a lot of people think that he's going to play nickel in the NFL, Barron from Texas. So I do think it would be Johnson if they keep that pick. And I don't get Johnson's fall. Like, Will Johnson's an excellent prospect, blue chipper, right? Like, I think he's going to be good. Yeah, I'm going to get back in this frame for a second now and answer some questions. How good is the Ravens pick? Well, here I have them taking Mike Green, right? Yeah, I mean, Mike Green's falling because of the character concerns that have come out about him recently. I really think that's going to affect him. I don't think James Pierce Jr. falls past 15. I can see the Bears taking him at 10, especially if Ashton Jeanty isn't there. I think the Bears, there's no way they take a lineman anymore because they already put all their eggs into one basket. They need to improve the rest of the team. I think Carolina, it's all a farce of them taking Jalen Walker top 10. Like, I don't think Jalen Walker is going to unequivocally fall. He's too small of an edge rusher to go top 10. He's not a linebacker. Now, he's an excellent player, and I think he will be a great NFL player, but you don't take a 6'1", 230 edge rusher in the top 10. That's just how you get fired. I'm sorry. If they don't think he's going to play linebacker, he's not, you know, if they don't think they can use him in multiple schemes, he's not going top 10. If the Vikings get Nick Emmanwori, it's over. Vikings fans are going to hate my winners and losers of free agency because I think the Vikings lost long term. Jonathan Allen has been declining for 4 years, 4 years pretty much. He's 30, and we know what was the last time that a 30-year-old defensive tackle got a ton of money? It was the Niners with Hargrave, and he was horrible. So I just think Jonathan Allen, $20 million a year is a crazy price. Getting Hargrave is a crazy price. They're so old now. I don't like what Minnesota's doing at all, what they did there. Now, I like retaining Byron Murphy, of course, and I love a few of the other things they did. I think moving to JJ is fine, right? They saved a lot of money. But yeah, I definitely think that the Bears are the big winners of free agency. I'll make a video about that. But that's a little sneak peek. I think the Bears kind of won it so far. Patriots overpaid for Milton Williams. We all know that Eagles players, when they leave, defensive tackles get substantially worse. Look at Hargrave. Sweat will get substantially worse in Arizona because he has no help. Like, it definitely helps playing next to Jalen Carter. Yeah. I hope you're wrong and Denver gets Loveland. Well, they signed Engram, so I don't think they're going to get Loveland, right? Didn't Denver sign Engram yesterday? I'm pretty sure. So I really like the Broncos free agency. I think the Broncos are big winners. I love Dre Greenlaw. What's up, Frank? Love Dre Greenlaw. I love what he can bring to a team. And if he stays healthy, that's a high-risk, high-reward type of thing with him. Obviously, he's one of the best linebackers in football. Hufanga can still be a solid safety. You got Evan Ingram, a few other guys they got. I like Denver's definitely better. I think they're certainly a 10-win, 11-win team at least next season, even in a tough division where I think the Chargers will be good, and even the Raiders should be better. What do you think about Hopkins to the Ravens? Well, I've said this. Hopkins is fine, but I always make this joke like, if you're past your prime, the Chiefs get you 1 year past your prime, and the Raiders get you 2 years past your prime. That's kind of what the Ravens always get DeAndre Hopkins, Deontay Johnson, geez, like it seems like every single receiver they get, they overpay. $6 million in overpay for Hopkins at this point in his career. Is 31, right? Like, I don't think he's going to be impactful for the Ravens at all. I could be wrong, but I think they should still draft a receiver. I think it's a cheap way to go about things. Panthers free agency's fine. Make a bit about the best players in the draft in every position overall. I already did, but I'll do that again as we get closer to the draft. And obviously this free agency thing kind of slows down. So I will be making like winners and losers of free agency. And I'll come out with that first video. Probably I'll make it right after this live. And then, yeah, I mean, I like the Bills free agency too. I know we have a question there. I think that, you know, I wouldn't have paid Joey Bosa $13 million. Like, I wanted him on the Niners, but I'm glad they didn't go over the $10 million range because he never plays. He played like 5 games 2 years ago. Yeah, I'll get out of the way. Trey Hendrickson to the Eagles, not happening. Frank, not happening. I think Trey Hendrickson probably goes to the Bears, if I had to guess. I can see the Bears going all in for him and building, you know, kind of. Because you got to think about it, like everyone talks about this, and I'll keep going back and forth from this mock draft. Everyone talks about this, right? The Niners are doing all this stuff. Well, they aren't going to have a quarterback on a rookie contract anymore. With the Bears and Commanders, when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract, it's different. You can build your team differently. You can pay. Like Patriots giving Milton Williams $26 a year is freaking crazy, but they have a quarterback on a rookie contract, so it makes sense. Commanders went and got Tunsil. They went and signed Javon Kinlaw. They did all this stuff because they have quarterbacks on a rookie contract. And the Eagles are getting rid of these guys. Like Milton Williams, they didn't re-sign Josh Sweat because Hurts isn't on a rookie contract, right? Like he's making $50 million a year. So I think it's just how different teams operate. You got to kill it in the draft if you have a quarterback making a ton of money. And, you know, if you really have a quarterback not making money, like, you know, rookie contract, you can go trade for a guy like Trey Hendrickson, kind of put all your eggs into one basket there. But yeah, I'll get out of the way so you guys can see this too, and I'll answer more questions. But yeah, I have Jeanty going 4. I have the Raiders. Remember, the Raiders to trade up from 6 to 4 is literally only going to cost a 4th or 5th rounder. It's not going to cost much at all, but I think they could. Patriots would be smart to play a scare tactic on Pete Carroll and say, like, look, we like Ramondre, we just paid him, but we can get out of that cap hit after next season. We want Jeanty bad, right? Because they got Moses already in free agency, and it might be a little bit of a reach to take Campbell or Membu there. So I think they could do a scare tactic with the Raiders and be like, look, if you want Gent, we're going to take him at 4 unless you guys trade up. And then the Raiders would be stuck with who? Who would they take? Ted McMillan? You're not going to take Marion Hampton at 6. It's obvious they need a running back. Are they going to take Membu at 6? I don't think so. Maybe, but top player most likely to drop. Well, I think somebody good is going to drop to the Eagles. Obviously, in this one, I have the BC edge. He's obviously very productive. Mikal Williams could drop, especially after his pro day yesterday. I think, you know, what was this 40 time? Like 4.68. Wasn't great. James Pierce could drop, but I just don't like see it. I don't see it. I don't see him dropping. He's too talented. Like there's certain guys that are too talented. Like Shamar Stewart's like going to go top 15 for sure. Like, there's no doubt about it in my mind because of his combine. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but it's just that's what's going to happen. And the rest of this is kind of just, like, feeling it out, right? Like, I think, you know, Kenneth Grant's a good pick for the Cardinals there. Derek Carman's an elite pick for the Bengals there. Seattle probably goes receiver there. They could take Dart. I'm not ruling that out at 18 and kind of take another quarterback and maybe get out of the Sam Darnold contract after a year. Because remember, they only guaranteed $55 million. It's a lot of money. But it's like they can get out of that after 2 years, so they could definitely get a quarterback. Though I do think it'll be later. I think Will Johnson could fall to the Niners, but the Panthers. Yes, they signed Horn. Yes, they signed other corners, but I think it's more like best player available situation where they'll just take the best player available. At this point, I think it's Will Johnson there. Will Campbell, I can see the Saints going Tyler Warren there, but if Will Campbell's there, Fuaga and Campbell on your line makes a lot of sense. Kind of get back to that brand of football. I think that's important for the Saints. Niners are definitely going corner. I don't know, man. I mean, they have Renardo Green and they have Lenore. So, I mean, they definitely need somebody else. I think they probably go Azarie Thomas in round 2. Somebody like that, maybe Trey Amos, somebody like that. I think the Niners go D-line. I think Walter Nolan's getting a little underrated right now. So, I don't know. For me, it's tough. Thanks, Frank. Tough to see some of these guys not rising. Like Walter Nolan's going to have an excellent pro day. I can see the Niners taking him. The Niners literally have no D linemen besides Bosa. Like everyone is buns. And I'm saying that as a Niner fan. Like they need to take like 5 or 6 defensive linemen in the draft. People talk about the O-line, but I really think that they need to focus on the defensive line, which is why I have Nolan there, taking him over Membu, over people are now coming up with conspiracies like the Niners are going to take Sanders and trade Brock Purdy, but I just don't see it happening. I'm not a huge Brock Purdy guy as a Niner fan. Like I think he's expendable more so than other Niner fans. Like I think paying Brock Purdy $50 million a year is kind of the nail in the coffin for a franchise. I don't think you can win a Super Bowl if you're paying Purdy $50 million a year, but or it'll be much tougher. But I don't think they're going to trade him. They're committed to him. So who do you think would be better for Niners, Nolan or Pierce? Who would I draft? Pierce. If you have bookends like on either side of the edge, right? You have Pierce and Bosa. Those are 2 all-pros. Like I think Pierce is an all-pro edge rusher. Who would listen to a USC fan about football? That's funny. I like it. USC's going to be good, man. Sleeping giant. I think Riley has a pretty good year next year if he can get a quarterback. This is PFF, so if you obviously you can do this without any count, but if you want a 7-round mock, you probably have to subscribe, which I'm subscribed for like more scouting stuff and other stuff and getting grades. But what do the Dolphins get by trading back? I was thinking, since it's not too much, right? Like a 3rd rounder, I was thinking plus pick 21. Like, I don't think it's going to take much, right? Like for them to move back and still take Banks or Simmons, whoever's there. I have the Steelers trading up from 21 to take Shador. Even if they take Aaron Rodgers, I think like Pittsburgh's a great place for Shador. I think learning under Mike Tomlin and that culture could be important to his development and maturity as a quarterback. And he could learn under Aaron, even if they signed Aaron for a year, right? Like you could learn under him, and then Shador could sit out his first year and play the second year. But yeah, obviously everyone's gonna have different opinions with this mock, and that's fine. But whether you guys agree with me or not, I still appreciate the discourse. I'd appreciate a follow, and yeah, I don't care if you guys hate in the comments or like what I'm saying or hate. Like all for it, like whatever. I don't take anything personally. So Shador to Pitt is lit. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I can see him trade, especially if Shador falls. Now he could go 3rd to the Giants, right? Like there's new reports that they want. I think it would be a horrible decision for them to go Shador if Travis is there specifically, because obviously then the Patriots would take Travis and they wouldn't trade that pick back, right? But in this case, if the Giants go Travis Hunter, I can see the Pats. Now I'm telling you, no one thinks this, but I can see the Pats taking Jeanty, and they're at least going to scare the Raiders into thinking that. And the Raiders need a running back. Like the Raiders should get Ashton Jeanty. Like I know they need linemen, I know they have a few other holes, but Jeanty's a great running back, and Pete Carroll seems to thrive with those Marshawn Lynch type of running backs. I'm not saying that Jeanty is Marshawn Lynch, but I am saying that he's just going to be an excellent NFL player. You don't think the Eagles will go for Starks? I think it's possible, especially with some of their guys leaving in the second. Sorry, someone was calling me, so I had to decline the call. Can't Carter, even after the Titans for possible for sure, but I think it's still Carter at this point. Everyone thinks it's Ward, and it could be Ward. If it's Ward, it screws the entire draft, because it's like you take Shador in the top 5. It's kind of like career suicide if you're a GM, because I think the difference between Ward and him is extremely, it's substantial, right? I don't think Shador is going to be an excellent NFL quarterback. It could be wrong, it could be good, but I don't think him going in the top 5 makes a lot of sense when there's a lot of scouts that don't even think he's a first-round prospect. So, again, if the Titans take Ward, it screws everybody, because then the Browns need a quarterback. Then the Giants need a quarterback, assuming they don't get Rodgers, right? And then the Patriots, Travis Hunter would fall to the Patriots, which is obviously their dream. And then Jeanty would inevitably fall to 6 to the Raiders or 10 to the Bears. Like, I could see that happening for sure. I'm not saying this is right. This is just kind of what I'm projecting right now. Could change. And look, there's been a lot of things that change every single day. Why are Bears drafting edge? Zero chance they do. Well, if they trade for Hendrickson, sure, but they still need an edge rusher. Who's most likely to have the best draft? Probably, if I had to guess, whoever has, well, you got to think who has, like the Eagles are going to draft well because Howie always does. I think the Niners probably draft well. Patriots have a lot of work to do. They could do some stuff. Giants have some good picks. Giants have made some good selections the last 2 years. I really do like their selections. Like Joe Shane gets a lot of hate because obviously letting Barkley go, but Tyron Tracy was a steal. He got late. I can see all of that. Yeah. Who's going to draft Jeanty if the Raiders don't? Bears at 10. Yeah, the Bears have done. If Jeanty falls to 10, the Bears would do it for sure. Please explain why the Raiders draft 2 spots. Yeah, I've explained this like 40,000 times. If you're new to this live specifically, I do think that the Patriots can use a scare tactic to the Raiders. And by this point, I mean, if Hunter goes in the top 3 and he's not available at 4, do you really think the Patriots are going to go Will Campbell or Membu? They could, but they already signed Moses. They need more line help, so it's possible. But I could just see them at least using it as a scare tactic. Like, okay, we're going to take Ashton Jeanty here unless you trade up. Like, we're going to take him. We know you want him. Do you want him? You're going to have to trade up because we're going to send that in. And I know they extended Ramondre, but if you look at his contract, they can get out of that and cut him after next season. So Cam Ward going to Seattle? No, not happening. They would go Graham at 4 if they're gone. Possibly, but Graham is falling on a lot of boards because Graham doesn't have the measurables. I'm a big college production guy, so I like Graham. I think he's easily the best D lineman in the class, but people might think Shamar Stewart. I'll get out of the way so you guys can see it a little bit. But Sanders are not getting Sanders? What do you mean? You mean Steelers are not getting Sanders? Pittsburgh going up to get Sanders is getting more popular. Yeah, I can see it. They definitely, regardless, whether they sign Aaron or not, I think, trading up, if he falls, if there starts to be a little bit of a fall, I think Pittsburgh would be the team to trade up. Now, Cleveland, of course, could trade back up into the first round. Let's say Cleveland takes Carter there and are afraid to take Sanders. I can see them trading some draft compensation to move back up and take Shador as well. Can definitely see that. Yeah. Banks is the best tackle. Disagree. I think he's a guard, but I think he's a really good guard. He might become a tackle. He might be able to play that, and he might be good. But I personally think it's Membu. And then I like Ursary a lot, but I don't think Ursary goes round 1. People are really low on him. I don't know why, but he's a true tackle. But, yeah. I can see Campbell will be a guard also. Yeah, probably. I mean, he'll get a shot at tackle for sure. There's no doubt about it, right? But I think, Campbell probably a Pro Bowl guard if I had to project him. Same with Banks. I think Ursary's probably stays a tackle. Membu probably stays a tackle. A few others, but Jackson Dart is a first rounder. I've had him going in the first round for a long time, and I'm not ruling that out. Like, they could absolutely trade back up. But at this point, if Shador's falling, then Dart's going to fall, right? Is there a second or third round sleepers? I mean, there's a ton, dude. I like Chris Paul Jr. from Ole Miss, linebacker. I like whatever his name is, David Walker, even though he had a bad combine, from Central Arkansas. There's so many. Charles Grant from William and Mary probably goes round 2 now, but definitely could go round 3. There's a ton of sleepers in this draft. I could go on. Who's a third round receiver? Let's see. Gardner Minshew just signed round receiver. Let's see. Gardner Minshew just signed to Kansas City, huh? Interesting. I'll get out of the way so you guys can see this for a sec. Yeah. I'll periodically move in and out so you guys can see the actual board. But yeah, I have the Bills taking. Who do I have taken? Them taking Malachi Starks. Yeah, in this specific mock. Yeah, no worries. The Raiders are not going to trade up to 4. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I mean, look, in this specific mock, it does make sense because the Pats could absolutely go Ashton Jeanty and they would use it as a scare tactic for the Raiders trading up. And I know it's like a golden rule to not trade up for a non-quarterback. Running backs are definitely in a deep class. It's replaceable. Like, I get all of that, and I've been getting cooked in the comments for that. But and on the video, I have that in too. If you guys haven't checked that out, check it out. But I think if you want a player, you should do whatever it takes to trade up. And it wouldn't cost much because it's 2 spots and the quarterbacks are off the board, right? Like, no one's trading up for Sanders at that point. I don't think anybody trades into the top 5 for Sanders. Now, in the top 10, it's a different story. Like, someone might trade with the Jets. Somebody might trade with the Niners at 11 if he falls to that spot, because I think the Niners want more picks, obviously, since they have no depth right now. But I can definitely see Jeanty being picked 4 by the Patriots if they keep that pick, or putting pressure on the Raiders to trade up, and then them getting Ted at 6. I don't think Matthew Golden, like I get the Matthew Golden hype, but I just don't see him going top 15. I really don't. I don't see Burden going top 15 anymore. I've seen scouts become more critical of him recently, even though he's good. Jaden Higgins is going to rise probably at the end. He'll go first round at the end of the day. I can see it. Don't have him in this mock specifically. I mean, a lot of things will change based on the pro days. But I do think Jeanty is like the crown jewel of this running back class, and I do think that Trevion Henderson will move up. Like, I think Henderson's going to be a guy people like a lot. So, and again, if you guys are, just joining, the full video is going to be on YouTube afterwards as well. So I'll periodically move my head out of here so you guys can see and all that. But yeah, you don't think the Titans go Ward? I don't. I really do. I mean, they need an edge rusher bad. They can roll out Will Levis one more year. Like, it's not going to hurt anybody. It won't. Like, they're not going anywhere regardless. Like, whether they get Ward. Maybe if they get Ward, they could. But I like Ward. I think he's a special quarterback. I think he's easily the QB1 by a mile. Like, I don't think it's particularly close. Like, I do think Dart and Shador are closer together than either of them to Ward. But I do think that I think they end up going Carter or trading back. Like, I can see the Giants, if they miss out on Aaron, like, let's say Aaron goes to Pittsburgh, right? The Giants don't have a quarterback. Yeah, they could sign Russell Wilson. They could also sign Russell Wilson and trade up like 2 picks. Like, I don't think it's the end of the world, right? And I know a lot of people disagree with this, but we all love football. We all love talking about football in this discourse, and I like it. I definitely love seeing other opinions. I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but I appreciate a follow if you guys follow me, and you can hate in the comments. I don't really care. I don't really have thick skin when it comes to that. Like, we all have different opinions. It's okay. But I'm not saying this is right, but I appreciate a follow from you guys as well. Raiders are going to do what if you think the Pats will in this scenario? I have the Raiders train up 2 spots if the Pats, have a scare tactic and are like, look, we're going to take Jeanty unless you guys trade up. Because I think the Raiders are all in on Jeanty. I really do. I'll get out of the way so you guys can see, though. Shador, I have fallen to 13. You wonder T-Mac is going to go earlier than that. I don't think he goes earlier than that. I mean, maybe 4 to the Patriots if they keep the pick. But I have the Steelers trading up to 13, so Sanders' fall stops there. Obviously, Membu to the Cowboys makes a lot of sense. Membu could definitely go 4th overall to the Patriots as well. I've had that in the past. Luther Burden to Seattle. Yeah, I can see it. I like people that say Golden is better than Burden don't know anything. We'll see. I guess time will tell. But Burden's tape is way better. Burden's numbers are way better. Everything's better with Luther Burden than Matt Golden. And I like Matt Golden, but Luther Burden's falling and Matt Golden people are infatuated with. There's always a prospect post-combine that people are in love with. Pre-combine, it was Emeka Egbuka. And then, of course, afterwards, now it's Matthew Golden. Are the Niners going to extend George Kittle? Yeah, I think they will. Extensions actually help them, right? So, again, I really like that. You're saying that's what the Raiders will do? They're going to bait Jeanty for picks and move back? I guess they could. Look, I'm not saying this is right, like 100% right, but I don't think Matthew Golden falls to the Commanders there. Tootin going for 2nd round. I can see it. I mean, I was a big fan of Bashal Tootin before. Like, I had him going in the 3rd. I could see him going higher for sure. Mikael Williams to the Lions. I could see him falling, especially after that pro day. Jeanty going Pats at 4, exactly, which is why I have the Raiders trading up to get Jeanty 2 picks and giving him a 4th or 5th rounder. I don't think it'll cost much to go up for a running back. I really don't. But they could absolutely just stay at 6 and trade back if somebody wants Shador at that point. Like, I can see Pittsburgh even trading up to get Shador at 6. It doesn't have to be 13, right? Seahawks trade up to get Tet McMillan. Maybe, but like they can still get a great receiver regardless, whether it's Luther Burden or Matt Golden or even Emeka Egbuka. Well, you don't want to get Egbuka because Jason and Egbuka are both slots, right? They need an X receiver or somebody that can separate at a high level. But I do think they're taking a wide receiver regardless at this point. Simmons blocking CJ's blind side. Dude, Simmons is going to fall. I'm telling you right now, and he's probably like the true tackle that they want and that they need, right? But he's going to fall because of the injury. I'll be on here a few more minutes. I'm going to post it on YouTube, and I'm going to make a video about winners and losers of free agency, which I'll do in a sec as well. And I'll have this on YouTube, and obviously I'll go live again tomorrow and all that stuff. Where's your king, Jeremiah Smith? Not eligible for the draft. He's a freshman, remember? So he needs a few more years until he's eligible for the draft. So Honestly, I'd be sick if you get Sanders, but it's so unlikely. I don't think it's that unlikely. Like, everyone thinks that the Giants, they just assume that they're going to take Shedeur at 3, but I just don't see it, guys. I don't see it at all. Like, I think if the consensus is Shedeur is barely a first-round prospect on a lot of scouts' boards, why would he go top 5? Why wouldn't the Giants just take Travis Hunter right there? I can see the Browns making a dumb mistake like taking Shedeur at 2nd if Cam goes first, but I think the Browns are so poorly run the last few years. I'm not saying the Giants aren't, like, they could make that mistake. I just think if there's a guy like Travis Hunter, you take him. Next squad, you can always draft a quarterback later in the draft, you know, in my opinion. QBs are overvalued. They are. I mean, there's a supply-demand issue with quarterbacks, right? There's more demand than there is supply. So it's just, for me, with quarterbacks, right? There's more demand than there is supply. So it's just, for me, it's hard to like see it from a GM's perspective, thinking they're going to put their career on the line for a Shedeur Sanders in the top 5. Like, I just don't see it. I just don't. I see him falling. Like, I think the fall has been inevitable for a while. Now you're having his camp leak Giants information like he's going to go to the Giants at 3. I mean, they're like, Shedeur is such a weird prospect in the sense, like, in most years he's not even a top 2 rounder, but because of the supply and demand for quarterbacks, it's like, okay, he's going top 5 now. Like, people are saying there's like a agenda to make it seem like Shedeur is this elite prospect when he's not. And I'm not saying Shedeur is going to be a bad NFL player, but as a prospect, this is everything aside. Like, Cam Ward is easily the best prospect in the class. So I really do. Easily. Yeah. Shedeur's Lonzo Ball 2.0. I don't know about that, but is this the guy that said the Commanders got lucky this season? I never said the Commanders got lucky. I said they won 9 one-possession games, which is true. So I do think there's some regression even with the off season they've had. Dart is better. Yeah, Dart is better than Sanders in my mind, but everyone will just... The thing is like, people automatically, if you say Dart is better than Sanders, people just... The first comment is, you're racist. Like, if you think Dart is better than Shedeur, you're racist. That's the first... No one can articulate why. Like, we're evaluating prospects. Cam Ward is my number 1 prospect by a mile for the quarterback position, right? Like, it has nothing to do about race. Shedeur just isn't that good of a prospect. You know? That's kind of like... the end of the day, that's what matters. Like, Ward is a far superior prospect than Shedeur Sanders, but everyone wants to make it about race. Like, it's just true. You see it on air on ESPN, like Ryan Clark doing this shit every day, like on ESPN. It's like ridiculous at this point. It's not about race. Like, otherwise Ward wouldn't be the consensus number 1 overall pick, right? Terrible mock. Jackson Dart is the best QB. I don't know about that, but Ward is definitely number 1. But I could see Shedeur being the second best quarterback in this draft. Bro, the Raiders got a running back. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Panthers not drafting Will Johnson. I can see it, dude. I know they got a nickel and they got a few other corners and they re-signed Horn, but I just see them taking best player available. In this case, it's Will Johnson. I have Malachi Starks going later in this mock specifically. Why are the Steelers at 13? I have them trading up. 2 more minutes here, then I'm going to hop off, y'all, and I'll post this on YouTube after. Sanders is more NFL ready than Cam. I disagree. I'm not saying Sanders can't be bad right away. He's played a ton of college games, and we've seen quarterbacks right away that are good that play a ton of college games, like Bo Nix, Jay Daniels, Brock Purdy, a lot of these guys, and it's about situation too. Like, I think all these quarterbacks are kind of screwed because of the situations. Like, we said the same thing about the Commanders and Patriots last year, but it's different. Those are better organizations. Like, the Browns are in purgatory because they're paying Deshaun Watson. Joe Shane doesn't know what he's doing in New York. And the Titans are always going to be bad, right? Like, they fired Mike Vrabel, who was their best coach they've ever had, probably, right? Or close to it. So, I don't know. I think all these quarterbacks are screwed regardless of where they go. So, I think it's beneficial if Shedeur falls for him to be successful. Like, if he goes to Pittsburgh, I think he could be successful. If he goes to Seattle, he might be successful if he sits behind Darnold for a year. Trey Hendrickson traded to the Panthers. When? Just now? I don't think so. That's not happening. Liar. I knew that was a lie. I had to guess. I had to go look, but I definitely not traded to the Panthers. But anyways, I'm going to make some videos about winners and losers of free agency and some NFL draft stuff. Make sure you guys follow me for more content like this, going over mock drafts. And whether you agree with me or not, I'd appreciate a follow. I'd appreciate your support. I love all you guys, whether we agree or not. You could hate me, love me, regardless. I'm very appreciative of all of you. So thank you so much.